Hello, everyone. Hello, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary Pauls. Welcome to Kazukun's Mental Asylum Show. In this stream, we're going to react to one of the most demented things I've ever watched in my entire life, besides One Man in One Jar. But we don't have ladies here. I know. I wanted to just imagine that I have a lady in my chat room. Only gentlemen agree. XD. For now, let's discuss the topic before we get to the channel. Before we get to the watching the video. Not this one. Alright. So, in this video, we're going to disguise LimusTSlime's video about SpongeBob. This one right here. And I'm going to say this is going to be hell of a ride if you ask me. Not only he has lots of I mean, how to so for context, LimusTSlime that goes by she they. They have they made a YouTube video once about Angel Dust and has been hotel that's gained a lot of views. And because of that, he gained a lot of popularity. Unfortunately, his takes on other media are kind of, how to say, dumb, misguided, out of context. He's not very. He's just an imbecile. Let's be honest. And in today's stream, we're going to watch this video. This one. And I also want to, how to say, hmm. And also shout out to Gax for making those videos about Limus and exposing his stupidity on the internet. So anyway, let's get back into watching the video. My TU block doesn't work.
Yes, this video is 100% serious. SpongeBob Square.
No, really. Not really. It isn't very serious. For me, it's kind of. I mean, in the description, she said it's a joke. This video isn't meant to be taken seriously, and it's for some good fun. On is it? Anyways, by Mermaid because I love capital. Actually, love capitalism. Says Limus the Slime.
SquarePants is one of the most popular cartoons ever created. After its first episode in 1999, the show would go on to have 15 seasons alongside 4 movies with a 5th one on the way. The show's relevance in pop culture over the past 25 years has yet to be topped by any other cartoon. Its presence in both online and in the mainstream cannot be ignored. SpongeBob and Patrick were commentators for Super Bowl 58.
This is really boring.
There's actually a really good conversation to have about how much SpongeBob has just inserted itself into pop culture. I'm not just talking about shirts at Hot Topic.
Nobody cares about shirts on Hot Topic.
I'm talking about how much the show is referenced or just makes an appearance in other shows and movies. You know, like King of the Hill, South Park, The Simpsons, The Middle.
We just got 8 free peanuts! You're gonna love our
dinner. Resident Evil. Hell of a Boss.
Hmm. I forgot how cheesy her jokes are. This is such a waste of time to watching this video, to be honest. Maybe I should do something different than watching this. I don't know.
I kid you not, the Resident Evil TV series
Lol.
has a reference to SpongeBob.
I freaking love SpongeBob. I mean, his best friend's a starfish.
Are you serious?
SpongeBob is canon in the Resident Evil universe. As of writing,
No, he isn't.
SpongeBob is the longest running kids show of all time, with new episodes still being made after 25 years of being on the air. It is without a doubt the most influential.
And Perkin has to go to work. He's howling like that. Yeah. Who's Perkin? I don't know him. Should I know him?
Influential cartoon of all time. Karl Marx is a German philosopher.
And there we go. He's going to talk about communism because he's such an anti-capitalist that he's don't pierdo. I mean, that's true. I don't know what he is. I really don't have a video about him pinpointing his toxicity on YouTube and actually, well, his crush out, well, his streamer, his fellow, well, his crush out that he was yelling at his one viewer about watching other streamers playing Yakuza. No, he didn't do any of that. No. Anyway, back to the video.
Philosopher and revolutionary socialist who is best known for his 1848 pamphlet titled The Communist Manifesto.
Also known as my favorite toilet paper. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Karl Marx, for giving me these ad swipes.
His work would be well known for its critique of capitalism and materialism, and his ideas would soon develop into the political ideology known as Marxism. He is also a fan of Spongebob, as evident from this very real quote. It says, "Damn, that sponge is funny as hell."
Cue the laugh track. No, really, this is fucking stupid. This is not even funny.
This is a real quote, trust me.
WTF. Yeah, that's my share my sentiment. This is fucking stupid. Like he's talking about like fuck Marx. Everyone who follows the ideology are rather hypocrites or fucking or dumbasses who don't know anything about living in the real world. It's like, oh, I'm such an the people people like capitalism is bad, and yet they sell T-shirts, their own merch. They also do. They also are not hesitant to be rich themselves. You know, hypocrisy at its finest. I don't know what to.
Now you're probably wondering why I am bringing up a historical figure like him.
Because you're a dumbass. And you don't. And you should get off the internet right now.
Because I like
Order.
Karl Marx is one of many figures that introduced new explanations for
And your favorite and your biggest wet dream, don't deny that. You're a fucking loser, man. I mean woman, girl. I forgot that you have to use right pronouns. I mean, look at this. She, they. I forgot. If you don't use the right pronouns, they use it as an argument against you. That you don't use the right pronouns at them. Crazy, right?
Niektóre rzeczy kończą
Oh fuck. How the
się, gdy najbardziej
I hate ads so much.
Because I like
Order.
Karl Marx is one of many figures that introduced new explanations for social phenomena in regards to economic activities. He is not the only one to help spread leftist ideas on class struggle, but he is one of the most influential. I am not good in the slightest at giving definitions to political ideologies,
Because you're a fucking moron.
but I will do my best to explain Marxism for you. Marxism is a political ideology developed by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels and is set out with the purpose of analyzing history in the context of class struggle and the evolution of production. The ideology emphasizes...
Spox, what do you think of this joke? Is it even funny or is it not? Because I don't think it's really funny. What? XD. I mean, just watch more. Alright,
So how
alright.
does that all relate to Spongebob? Well, that's what I am set out to accomplish. Today, I'm going to discuss some of the running tropes of Spongebob and how they connect to themes of anti-capitalism. Look, you don't got anything better to watch. You clicked on this video for a reason. Get a plate of crab ready, because we're going to eat the rich.
We got trouble.
First off, I want to say that SpongeBob is obviously a cartoon at the end of the day, and a lot of the situations that the characters go through are exaggerated for the purpose of comedy. I'm not going to sit here and say that Mr. Krabs selling SpongeBob's soul for 62 cents is a real thing that rich CEOs do to their employees. Yet. But it is important and worthwhile to note the parallels that can be drawn to real life from the show. For example, the police corruption that is present in SpongeBob can very easily be interpreted as a satirical take to the police corruption that is present in our real life.
Yeah, that he said it. She said it. I'm sorry.
Whether or not the depiction is exaggerated for comedic effect is irrelevant when those parallels can be seen, and what I hope to do is to set out and show a lot of those parallels to real life. I'm going to start off by talking about a pretty obvious plot point that can be tied to the entirety of this discussion, and that being the mere existence of the Krusty Krab. The restaurant is a very frequent location in the series, and is where both Squidward and SpongeBob work. There are many episodes that showcase examples of the owner Mr. Krabs exploiting the labor of his two only employees. In the Season 2 episode Graveyard Shift, he finds a financial potential in keeping the Krusty Krab open 24/7. However, because Squidward and SpongeBob are his only two employees, this basically means that they are forced to live inside the Krusty Krab, since there is no rotation of employees that are scheduled to work night shifts only. I think everyone already knows
I don't know. I think SpongeBob really likes that.
at this point that the night shift is the worst thing you can ever be subjected to mentally. I mean, just look at the security guard in Five Nights at Freddy's.
Sorry, Chica. Don't say so. Ow!
Why do you use that as an example? I mean, night shifts are for a reason, dumbass. You have to be a security guard to make sure the make sure that nothing gets stolen in the night, that there are no burglaries. Use common sense, dude.
So SpongeBob and Squidward being forced to work both night and day shifts means that eventually they're going to die inside the Krusty Krab from the effects of sleep deprivation. It's very apparent just how the whole thing is, especially given how Mr.
Don't worry, they're just cartoon characters. They'll be fine.
Krabs just leaves the two while he heads home. Just like a real CEO, he doesn't do any actual work and just counts money. I'm not even exaggerating. I don't think I have ever seen Mr. Krabs do any actual work in the show, and instead, he just has love affairs with stacks of money in his office. What's also funny is that this isn't even the only time that he has opened the Krusty Krab for over 24 hours. In Season 4, he keeps the restaurant open 24/7 again.
Day 10 a non-stop service.
Mr. Krabs, can I go home yet?
No one goes home.
And after, like, 4 to 5 weeks of working, SpongeBob begins to suffer from hallucinations and panic attacks while on the job. This doesn't affect Mr. Krabs in the slightest. In fact, he literally starts to drag SpongeBob, who is kicking and screaming, back into the kitchen and force him to keep working. As far as the world of SpongeBob goes,
Wait, what is that episode? Hmm. Care of Krabby Patty. Alright. Let's look at the reliable source of them all. There we go. Krabby Patty, special episodes in this episode. SpongeBob because afraid of Krabby Patties after working for no stone for 43 days. And this songs are not exhausted, so after here's the problem. HR? What HR? Human resources. Yeah, human resources. Yeah, the context is kind of a different if you ask me. Of course, it's not that. I mean, Plankton was also in this. He was overworking SpongeBob to make him so sleep deprived to make him tell the formula out of tiredness. So this girl is missing some lot of context. Was that safe visuals everyone has a killer Krabby Patties is stuck in panic and when Kristen Krabs sees a SpongeBob is so afraid of Krabby Patties. Whereas something is wrong with his head, assembly should go to the psych crisis and find out why. Oh my god! Mr. Krabs tells SpongeBob to get some help! He forgot to disclose that in the episode. In other words, Limus is kind of lying. And this is going to be and Encyclopedia SpongeBob is going to be very handy, to my opinion. Because there's no way in hell I'm going to watch every episode just to keep up with myself. I mean,
The existence of a union is completely out of the question, and
not really.
there isn't any labor laws put in place to protect workers from a working environment like this.
I mean, Mr. Krabs literally told him to get help when he realized there was something wrong with him. You were literally taking things out of context here. I had to check the synopsis of the episode to see if you're not bullshitting. You were bullshitting. You're bullshitting me, you're bullshitting the viewers. Fox, what do you think about this? Never mind that, let's just watch it.
SpongeBob and Squidward are the only two employees.
You're not doing the sober. I guess you're right. I would I mean, watching this sober is a fucking suicide if you ask me. You have to get intoxicated for this one. Because this person right here misses lots of context to the point of actually making it comical.
employees in the entire restaurant. It's implied that they don't have any actual hours or schedules and are just supposed to show up and work from opening to closing every day. In the show, the hours of which the Krusty Krab are open range depending on the circumstances of the episode. Sometimes they work very early shifts, sometimes they work very late shifts, sometimes they work 24/7. But a pretty consistent range of hours is Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., meaning both SpongeBob and Squidward work 55 hours a week, which is an insane amount of hours for a fast food service job.
I mean, perfect way for the. I mean, that's really good if you ask me. Just imagine lots of pension you get from working like that.
Maybe it was insane 2001 and it's normal today. I don't know. I haven't had a normal job in forever. This is what my job is. I talk about kids' shows and politics.
Then get a real job and shut the fuck up.
Maybe I should go to college.
Maybe you should go find a real job, you smug bastard.
Despite working this large amount of hours, Squidward and SpongeBob have basically nothing to show for it. If anything, they are in debt to Mr. Krabs because of the fact that he literally charges them for things like breathing, talking, and existing.
Flanderization at its finest.
Breathe on your own time. I don't pay you to breathe.
You hardly pay us at all.
They get bills instead of paychecks. There's also a throwaway comment in the episode Big Pink Loser where SpongeBob mentions that when he started working, he had to pay Mr. Krabs $100 a day.
And at $50 an hour, too. When I started working here, I had to pay Mr. Krabs $100 an hour.
So basically, the Krusty Krab is a billionaire's wet dream, in which they can exploit the workers for everything they are worth and face zero consequences from doing so. Wait, they do that in real life. They don't even face consequences either.
Provide some sources, or I'm calling it a cap. I'm not American, so you know.
There was an episode where Squidward tries to unionize with SpongeBob, and SpongeBob joins in because he has no idea what a strike is. But then, when he excitedly tells Mr. Krabs about the union, Mr. Krabs fires his only 2 employees, and then Squidward tries to protest against the Krusty Krab with the help of SpongeBob. But their union constantly gets busted by people trampling Squidward or SpongeBob accidentally promoting the Krusty Krab instead of boycotting it. Eventually, Mr. Krabs caves in and begs for the duo to come back as he can't handle his teenage employees. Squidward thinks he's finally won, but meanwhile, SpongeBob took Squid's message of eat the rich literally by eating the Krusty Krab. And because of this, they are now basically enslaved by Mr. Krabs in order to pay off the expenses needed to rebuild the entire restaurant. Even though Mr. Krabs has like a ton of money and he can absolutely afford to rebuild the Krusty Krab without
Spoiler alert, SpongeBob ate a lot of money. That's why.
the help of SpongeBob and Squidward. Security system takes control of Squidward's house and begins attacking.
Ah yeah, this is kind of a running joke about the security system takes control of Squidward's house and Mayor gives Squidward community service. Even though Patrick went inside Squidward's house. We get it, dude.
Attacking the city. I actually can't tell whether or not this episode is pro-union or not, but it is still really weird seeing a character in a Nickelodeon cartoon give a speech about the gentle laborer and the oppression of big business. Now normally it would make sense for Squidward to quit his job and find somewhere else to work, but there really isn't anywhere else to work. Yeah, there are places like supermarkets and Weenie Hut Jr., but from what I can tell, the Krusty Krab is one of the only available places to work, and I think one of the main reasons for this is because Mr. Krabs is fixated on monopolizing the food service industry. Squidward has quit his job multiple times in the past, and each time he has, it's always ended poorly for him, like he ends up homeless.
Well, the problem is that Squidward has a huge ego. And he always tends to become an artist or something despite the fact he's a talented hack. Just like you, Limus. And not only how to say it. And his idea of actually, I don't know, locking himself in and actually find a different job is, you know, is arbitrary for him. I mean, in this episode that you showed the clip for, SpongeBob was offering Squidward a place to stay. And he was like, how to say, exploiting SpongeBob. He can change the country, easy, easy. He can change the state if he wants. I mean, he has the money to pay the bills because he also told me he told me in the comments that his YouTube job has gave him more money than a regular one. Easy XZ, easy XZ. He can visit North Korea. Yeah, he wouldn't be poor anymore because everyone there is poor. I mean, rich. I mean, they're so rich that they don't. I mean, in North Korea, you don't have to. You don't need anything. You have food, shelter, and also security to watch over you, and the fact that you and survive to watch over you. That's it's a American dream come true. Visit North Korea. You won't regret it.
There are occasions where a competitor would show up or Plankton would finally get some sort of business, and Krabs would instantly try to find any way to sabotage them.
Ignoring the fact that Plankton is the one sabotaging Mr. Crab himself. Have you ever considered that? He was stealing. He was still trying to steal the formula, of course. But you didn't even. But you actually forget that. How sad.
But they don't usually need to, because most of these new competitors, like the Kelp Shake for instance, self-destruct due to them selling literal slop, something the Krusty Krab would never do. Let's talk about the episode where the Krusty Krab served literal slop. In the Season 4 episode, Selling Out, Mr. Krab sells his restaurant to a wealthy venture capitalist named Howard Blandy.
Howard Blandy! You mean the Howard Blandy? The Howard Blandy that masterminded the ruthless takeover of every small family-owned business in Bikini Bottom? That Howard Blandy? I worship you!
And after he does so, he retires and allows the restaurant to be completely rebranded as Krabby O Mondays. However, he hates retirement so much that he ends up getting a job at the restaurant again, but this time as an employee and not a boss. There's a lot of instances of Carl abusing his new power, like for instance turning human resources into just a guy who will beat you up if you are not doing a good job. He also removes SpongeBob of his job as a fry cook and instead replaces
Here's your human resources.
the cooking process with a machine that creates synthetic patties off gray slop, which is ironically how most fast food is created.
I mean, what? I mean, what would you say? I mean, maybe this guy would be. Maybe this guy was actually a nice guy, and his manager was like, "Come here, bro. Let's talk."
Is it burnt? Did I drop it in dirt? No. Grow up.
It's funny because this is one of the few episodes where the unethical business practices are not from the fault of Mr. Krabs. I mean, yeah, he did sell the business, but at least he drew the line when he saw that fake food was being created. It's a very low bar to pass, I know. I see a lot of people point to this episode in reference to things like AI art, but I also think this was originally meant to parody the fact that fast food monopolies do indeed make their food off artificial slop. I mean, the Krusty Krab makes their burgers off fish meat, so I don't think they are any better.
Again, provide sources, or I think, or it's all cap.
But still. Also, I really love the wiki page to this episode, and the
I mean, it's a fandom wiki page made by fans. I mean, I can sabotage this shit if I wanted to.
Previous section, it says, despite mistreating his employees most of the time, Mr. Krabs has shown that he would not bend so low as to make fake food or physically threaten the staff.
See, it's made by fans.
What the f are you talking about? Not only does he physically threaten his staff, he physically assaults them as well.
Reel it in before I keelhaul ya!
Like, you can see this happen in multiple episodes. He sold SpongeBob's soul for 62 cents. I think you can make a whole list of the amount of times that Krabs has physically assaulted or tried to kill his employees. This isn't the last time that the Krusty Krabs tries to sell fake patties. Mr. Krab fully invests on frozen patties in a Season 9 episode, and Patrick becomes the mascot for it, and so he is forced to work 24/7 with photo shoots, commercials, and branding. However, the frozen Krabby Patties are revealed to just be sand. I don't like sand. It's rough, coarse, and irritating. And it gets everywhere. To be completely honest, there is way too many examples of the Krusty Krab being on the focal point of anti-capitalist messaging, but my favorite example is Nasty Patty, in which Mr. Krabs tries to kill a health inspector because of the possibility
Alright, let's watch this first,
of
and
him
I'm
getting
going
free
to.
food. And he just forces SpongeBob to join in on it, or else he is fired.
Join me, boy, or you're fired. Look at him joke! Look at him suffer!
And after the health inspector dies, they try to hide his body and avoid being caught by the police, all because Mr. Krabs didn't want the health inspector to get free food because he thought it was a fake health inspector. What the actual fuck? You can
Too bad for you, I have the internet, and I'm going to Nasty Patty. Alright, let's see. Nasty Patty is SpongeBob SquarePants episode from season 3. In this episode, SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs think they killed him. Think they didn't actually kill the inspector. And he was the fake health inspector. The episode starts of the dark stormy night at Bikini Atoll. Finds the narrative of the time when Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob thought they killed the health inspector and decided to tell the story. Yeah. Something morning bath. Something ordinary attachment. Imposter passing himself as a Spectre calling residents to get free food. I mean, it wasn't said in television that the imposter was that there was a fake health inspector. Food when Secrets believes that one of the venue is the imposter, verging on Spatron's suggestion to stack about it and is keen to play a nasty prank for him. Nasty Patty, however, is consumed as after it goes in the mouth, causing him to choke. A fly goes into his mouth. That's really fun. Slips on the patty and hits his head on the table, knocking him out. The fly comes out of his mouth. It's part of it. I mean, the funny thing is that they actually knew he was the real inspector, but they decided to bury his body instead. That's actually pretty funny, if you ask me. Thanks Shadow, he'll be quickly bury him. In the process, doing some his stringing consciousness gets hit in the head by a large rock. SpongeBob dug up. Then show off, reading about the classic crowd, and it starts to rain during the coming to. Mr. Krabs. They all go to have Krabby Patties to celebrate the inspector is hit by the door. The narrator ends the episode by deeming characters to be idiots. In other words, they didn't kill the inspector. The inspector wasn't really ate by the killed by the nasty patty in question. Ignore inspector. He was unconscious. I mean, they were laughing at the suffering. Watch him suffer from the kitchen and ignore the inspector. What do you mean, ignore inspector? For the most of the time, the context matters. He literally gets information wrong.
You can make a whole video alone about the amount of crimes that Mr. Krabs has committed, whether it was attempted murder, grave robbing, fraud, mass murder, theft, blackmail, unlawful termination, numerous health violations. I refuse to believe Mr. Krabs pays taxes. He keeps all of his money under his mattress. Like, I am fully convinced that most of that money is dirty.
No, it isn't. If there was...
Do you guys think that the Krusty Krab is a front for money laundering?
Hey, Family Guy.
No, I don't think so. He is not that scummy.
Mr. Krabs did fight in the war. I don't know what war, but he did fight in a war. Do you think he committed some war crimes as well? Did he do that thing in GTA 4 where he sold out all of his friends for $1,000? There, guys, I made a GTA 4 reference. You can stop getting mad at me now.
You can go yourself.
I realized that
I mean, I share the same punk sentiments. You can also go fuck yourself.
most of this video is going to be me talking about Mr. Krabs, but fuck it, let's just keep going over some examples. You guys remember that time that Mr. Krabs started a slaughterhouse for
Not really a slaughterhouse, but milking factory. There's a
jellyfish?
difference.
In the episode Jellyfish Hunter, Krabs learns that Krabby Patties with jellyfish jelly is a massive hit after SpongeBob shares some jelly with customers. Take some jelly and the fish. Make that sandwich delish. So, seeing the profit potential, he creates a motherfucking jellyfish slaughterhouse in order to abuse and squeeze every ounce of jelly from each jellyfish, and he nearly eradicates the entire jellyfish population until SpongeBob stops him. He comes in with the help of his jellyfish friends and they destroy the slaughterhouse before stinging Mr. Krabs and making him take jelly off the menu. Mr. Krabs almost eradicated an entire species of jellyfish just to slightly increase his profits. Funny enough, this isn't the only episode that showcases SpongeBob being an environmentalist and against corporate entities. There is also SpongeBob's Last Stand, a double-length episode where SpongeBob and Patrick try to stop a highway being built over jellyfish fields. Initially, nobody is on their side, and even Mr. Krabs is in favor of it because of the profit it will bring him. But the only reason why he helps SpongeBob is because the highway would go over the Krusty Krab and into the chum bucket. Again,
He's an idiot.
it all comes down to money for him. SpongeBob
Because they literally... And he also said... Also was... Because he likes to being in the picture. Like, he raised his hand... he raised his hands to be in favor of the highway belt because he liked to raise his hand.
and Patrick try to rally citizens to join their cause, but then their peaceful protesting gets stopped as the police arrest them. This is sounding way too familiar. Patrick mentions how his relative was arrested after a freedom march and that he was never heard from.
Hippie? Marijuana? I mean, hippies are mostly associated with marijuana. So there may be some kind of connection.
From again, implying that both SpongeBob and Patrick are about to meet the same fate as a journalist who criticizes the CIA. Oh, come on, that was a good joke. Come on.
It wasn't. Stop self-indulging yourself.
Plankton begins to pave a highway through Jellyfish Fields, and SpongeBob steps in front of his construction, saying that if he is going to pave over Jellyfish Fields, he's gonna have to pave over him first. Now, where have I seen this before? Okay, so I wrote that as a joke, but apparently this is actually.
Yeah, taken from fandom Wikipedia made by fans. Like, is there a reference that it was the is there like a source or maybe an interview clip of the creator saying it is really a reference of saying this is a reference to censored shit? The Tiananmen Square massacre? Or you just make it shit up?
Actually meant to be a reference to Tiananmen Square and Tank Man. There is a Tiananmen Square reference in a SpongeBob episode. I think I need to say that again. There is a Tiananmen Square massacre reference in.
No, it isn't.
In SpongeBob. This plan obviously fails, and the highway is completed. The Krusty Krab is closed, and Bikini Bottom becomes a polluted hellscape. However, the jellyfish fight back, and the city falls under total anarchy, with buildings burning and citizens being attacked. What the f*** is this show? Guys, this is just like Fallout New Vegas. SpongeBob calls for the city to help give Jellyfish Fields back to the jellyfish and restore their habitat. So the citizens help in destroying the superhighway and bring back balance. I'm not gonna lie, this is probably one of the best ways to make kids understand why the environment is important to protect. It's funny because this episode is one of many examples of corruption in Bikini Bottom, law enforcement being a pretty big one. They arrested SpongeBob and Patrick for protesting and then dumped them in the middle of nowhere. The police department.
I think they're arresting them because they're associating themselves with marijuana.
In Bikini Bottom being corrupt is a pretty big running joke in the community, but it is pretty astounding just how corrupt they are. They rarely respond to real emergencies or crimes, and instead throw people in jail for stuff like not inviting them to your birthday party. You could like do a.
Okay, I don't know what episode this is, but literally. But she's then again taking things out of context.
Triple murder in Bikini Bottom and they'll look away, but God forbid you litter or else they'll give you the lethal injection. I'm not even kidding, the police just show up out of nowhere sometimes to just arrest people for little to no reason. It is played for a joke most of the time, but it is worth pointing out that this isn't that dissimilar from cops in real life. Whether or not you believe that all cops are bastards or not is irrelevant, there is no denying that police corruption is a very real thing, and a lot of the time, the portrayal of the police in SpongeBob is not that exaggerated given how accurate it can be to real life.
I mean, do you even watch the clips? Do you even know the context of them? Or are you just willfully ignorant and you're just being willfully ignorant? Tell me.
Most of the time, police are there to fill a quota and control the middle class, not to serve and protect. And I think it's funny that
You hear that, Spox? That's America for you. Oh shit, I got one.
a lot of the portrayal of police in SpongeBob went from, man, that's so exaggerated, that's funny, to, yeah, they do be like that. Honestly, the entirety of Bikini Bottom just feels like a police state to begin with. It's very possible that a lot of the regulations put in place by the government are to purposely control and restrict the working class, hence why people are constantly arrested for ridiculous reasons. The whole law and justice system of Bikini
And this is a clip of Squidward being arrested for throwing heads at the citizen.
Bottom is f***ed up.
He says the police are fucked up, showing the clip out of context, arresting Squidward for... You know what? I can show it. Wait, Squidward getting arrested. Squidward getting arrested. I mean, he was literally, how to say, get arrested. I mean, the context is in this episode that Squidward was in the alleyway doing some groceries, and he was scared out of one guy that he thought is going to beat him up or something. So he goes to Sandy, learns some karate, and goes to the same alleyway to confront the guy. He was breaking stuff and intimidating him with his karate moves. And this turns out that the guy who was actually that the assailant was actually an innocent guy. He was trying to give him a groceries bag because he lost them. And that's how and the police showed up and arrested him for a good reason. Wait, Squid learns karate episode. Yeah, this is it. Squid defense. Yeah. He wanted to return them. Yeah. The grocery episode, that's the clip that Limus is showing
Up, and it makes you question what kind of
about him being
society
arrested. He was being arrested for a good reason, because in good reason. He was assaulting the guy who was innocent. The police were doing their job. He was in the right to arrest Squidward for he was in the right to arrest Squidward for assaulting a person. And he shows the clips out of context, saying the police are arresting blue collar workers for no reason. Bullshit! It's fucking bullshit, man.
that this city runs on. It does genuinely feel like the whole world of SpongeBob is a dystopian nightmare played for laughs. Like,
No, dude, you're just imagining it. You're just showing clips out of context. You're just showing clips out of context and pretend this is the narrative. It isn't. Grow up.
I want you to imagine having to live in the world like this, where you can barely afford to get by financially, your boss exploits your labor for their own profits, you aren't able to protest injustice without retaliation from law enforcement, and you can't make enough money to retire one day. You don't have to imagine it. I just described living in America.
I mean, in my country, there's also something called Janusz, Januszeks, being a Janusz. People are also like this. In Europe, America isn't unique to this kind of problem.
SpongeBob is one of those shows that you look differently at the older you get. I know I just did that Facebook meme of, man, the older I get, the more I relate to Squidward, but
I don't relate to Squidward. Let's back to Janusza. Yeah, at least Janusz is a good businessman. Mr. Krabs is like Janusz if you want to look at it. Janusz is not a name, it's a lifestyle. Agreed, Spox. Absolutely fucking agreed.
just bear with me, okay? I have a soft spot for the series and the way that it shaped me and my sense of humor. Well, it was that and SpongeBob YouTube poops, but it still counts. This video isn't meant to be like a film theory type shit of, whoa guys, this is the true message of SpongeBob. I just wanted to analyze the show from a different perspective, and I think
Different perspective while taking things out of context. No thanks. No thanks, bitch. I'm not taking your bullshit.
think doing so made me appreciate it even more. I know that this is a kid's show, and that I'm looking way too deep into all of it, but
You're not even looking deep enough. You're just looking at the wrong direction. You're just taking things out of context. You're just like sarcastic colors with his Chowder Panini episode. And we have to wait like 3 years for a magic match to call his bullshit out. Just what the hell are you, man?
that's kind of the point.
You gonna send me to a nut
Not men, women.
house? Some
Because they go by she, they pronouns.
doctor, they're gonna get me to stop from doing what I want to do? Well, that ain't happening.
If you aren't willing to challenge yourself and find new perspectives of which you can view media, then media analysis would be really boring. So join me next time. I'm gonna be analyzing the Marxist messaging of Bluey.
Oh yeah, Jesus Christ, this joke is horrible.
You should always try and challenge yourself when it comes to writing and creating video essays. I think it's a good way of improving yourself as a creator.
No. I mean, challenging yourself, yes. But by actually finding interesting topics and not making up bullshit. Because most of the time you are doing is taking it out of context and making up bullshit to fit your own narrative. That's not challenging yourself. That's making audience look like a dumbass. And you make yourself like a dumbass.
But that's just me. Also, I want to apologize. The quote earlier about Karl Marx saying that he liked Spongebob, yeah, that's not real. He was actually talking about Big Time Rush. I mean, if you think about it, Big Time Rush is just a whole show that's an allegory for the reality of living in the music industry and how capitalism forces musicians to work 24/7 and put on a good face for everybody and their producers. Looking for a boyfriend, I see that. Give me time.
Big Time Rush was fucking awful.
You know I'm gonna be there. Alright, how should I end this video? How about if I promote my own capitalism?
See the irony? He promotes his own
Listen up,
merchandise.
everybody. I got a merch store. That's right. I got merch. We're selling t-shirts, beanies.
Nah, I'm pirating his. I'm going to steal its logo and I'm going to put it on my own beanie.
Stickers, hoodies. We don't have hoodies. We're selling t-shirts. I'm actually really happy with how all of these turned out. They're super high quality and I love how they feel.
Yeah, really? I found it all cap. They're not might be really high quality and we might be just making up some bullshit.
They're super comfortable, so I definitely recommend getting one of these. I'm definitely going to be putting out more merch in the future, but this is just going to be the summer collection moving forward. So if you want to see what else I got in store, then please subscribe, please support my Patreon, please help me to keep doing all these things that will eventually lead to me making more stuff like this, because I want to put out more merch and I want to put out more things that you guys can wear. Bees, please get some, wear them to your school. I promise you won't get bullied. You can get all of this at limusshop.fourthwall.com. That's limusshop.fourthwall.com. Go buy them now. Now! Buy them! There are bugs under your skin. There are bugs under your skin. Dig them out. Dig them out right now. Dig them out.
How about you dig yourself your own grave?
There are bugs under your skin. Dig them out.
Ha ha ha, so funny! And this is the whole video. I don't know if it's supposed to be a joke or if this is supposed to be taken seriously. I mean, it is a joke, but it's a very bad one. Like you, like worse than a dad joke, if you ask me. Not to mention, and I wouldn't be so harsh on Limus, whatever you want to call this slime head. If it wasn't for the fact that he was in a lot of controversies, I said contro. If he wasn't in a lot of controversies, she was literally going to a con con and harassing a voice actor to write an autograph of his cardboard box or of his poster of his thumbnail of his video of her video. I'm sorry, her seeking self-validation. Not to mention other Twitter stuff that I didn't mention. But that's why you should check out Jack Slim's video about LimusTSlime. Well, it isn't perfect, but these videos aren't very perfect, but they actually are on point. They show what's wrong with Limus as a person, as a creator. It's a really good video if you ask me. So anyway, that's the whole video. And I'm not going to go over his response video that he made on Lime's channel, responding to those videos, because this guy doesn't. Because I think they're going to get their all comeuppance in the near future. Once the time is right, they're going to get it. It's going to bite them in the ass, for sure. So anyways, folks, what do you think about this video? Tired, XD? I'm also tired. This video was like actually listening to a Confederate. It's like listening to people to like George Brown. And calling Ukrainian Banderovцы. It's like saying we are in such a hard times. Maybe we should, I don't know, call end the stream, because that's the exact reason I wanted to make this video. To laugh at Limus, laugh at his stupidity, and point out his lack of research. Even in a joke video like this, he can't make good videos, so he has to make joke videos. And he still has a and she still has a problem with doing basic research. I mean, most of the time. There were some times like she was right about the episode about Crabble Monday selling slop or something, but really that's it's not. I mean, their takeaway is that the capitalism is bad, that anti-capitalism is good, that that Spongebob is that is an allegory of anti-capitalism or something. I don't know. She can't really analyze the media without making such without making errors of research. So anyway, that's the whole video. And that's the whole stream. So thank you, Spox, for being here. I really appreciate it. C'est la vie. Goodbye.